Beautiful place. I enjoy doing it. Right now it's helping me get deeper into the flow of how I'm going to channel this message. Look, there's dragonflies hanging out right over here. I don't know if you can see them, but okay, let's go into it. So I'm going to be sharing some real sacred occult information that will absolutely transform your life. Okay, it will absolutely change every aspect of your entire being and of your entire life if you're actually understanding what it is that I'm talking about. And do not take this information for granted. That's the first place that I want to start. This is real deal heavy occult information. Just because I'm in a butterfly garden right now does not mean you should let this go over your head. Look, there's a butterfly. I don't know if you just saw it, but it just flew out in front of me. Oh, there it is. There's two of them. They're having sex. Look, those two butterflies right there. And they're gone. So symbolic. So symbolic. Let that be a sign of what I'm about to talk about being very powerful. Okay, we have sex energy, sexual energy. That's power. That is literally the essence of power. And a butterfly, transformation. So there's a lot of people that get stuck in the occult. Specifically, what I'm seeing is people get stuck in a level, or at a level, I should say, that is more towards the surface of the iceberg. So I want you to think of your spiritual self-development as being an iceberg, and I want you to understand that at the top of the iceberg, that's only the top, that's the surface. And underneath the iceberg, it goes deep into the water. So every single one of you listening right now is literally this exact iceberg. I want you to think of your consciousness as being that iceberg. And a lot of people in the spiritual community are stuck at the very surface level of that iceberg, which is their consciousness. And obviously that is what it is. You know, I'm not here to change that. I'm not trying to change that. I'm just sharing the things that I've learned and the things that I know, because there are certain souls that are ready to evolve on a much deeper level. And that's why I'm here, because that's the type of information that I offer, and I build my empire in the process. So thank you very much. But with that being said, once again, we're going into it. So I keep finding myself going off on these little tangents that I'm enjoying so much. I guess that's the power that you have when you have knowledge, right? You have information. You can talk about little tangents, talk about whatever you want, show butterflies having sex, and people are still going to listen because the knowledge is powerful. The knowledge will change lives. It's a beautiful feeling to do that. But as I was saying, people are stuck at the surface level of this iceberg. And it's because when it comes to real occult magic, the deepest levels of occult magic, there really is no, let's put it this way, there's not much logic to it. So when we look at, let's say, occult literature, I don't care who the author is, I don't care what the rituals are, I don't care what it is. There are rituals that are given to you in specific books that tell you what to use, that tell you what to buy, that tell you how you're supposed to perform the ritual. And look, I am not here saying that this is bad. I'm not saying that this is wrong. I give out information on how to do rituals. I give out information on tools that you can use for different reasons. Okay, I do this as well, but let's take this into consideration that people grab on to these rituals that they're learning from this author, or they're learning from this other occultist who has a book. And they take those same rituals that are said to produce these specific results, which they may, or they may not, it just depends, and they hold on to it as if these are the only practices that they have access to. So what I'm saying is that these people do these rituals as if it's the only way they're going to be able to manifest things or manifest change. And there's a starting place for that. There's a foundational place where people can start recognizing how to do ritual magic, where sometimes it needs to be buying a book that teaches you what you need to do and how you need to do it and when you need to do it and what it's going to do for you. And then you follow the steps, you follow your orders, right? This is an occult order. This is the concept of being in an occult order. And what I'm about to actually explain as I get into this video is literally why the most powerful occultists on the planet are not actually governed by any orders or governed by any rules whatsoever. So the most powerful occultists that exist on this planet, hands down, are not going to be a part of any occult orders. because there's a level of power in freedom. But I'll get into that as we get deeper. But people get stuck on literature or learning from somebody else the steps and the rules that they need to follow in order to manifest. And as I said, that's a starting point. That's where you start to build a foundation so that you can recognize, oh, this is what ritual magic is. And yes, it can produce results. So if I go through these steps, I can generate manifestation. Wow, I didn't even know I was capable of that. That's amazing. What else can I do? See, that's the key question. What else can I do? How far can this power go? Am I the one that is powerful, or is it the ritual I'm doing that is powerful? Is it the book that I'm reading that's powerful, or am I the one that is accessing that energy? See, here's the key. And there are few amongst many, myself being one of them, 1 in a trillion, if you will, that really understands the power is within. And I don't need a rule book. I don't need someone to tell me how it's supposed to be done or how it has to be done to produce a result. Quite frankly, I don't even need to know the result that is going to be produced. All I need is the intent for what I'm wanting, for what I'm needing, more importantly. So this goes into the higher principles of, I'm going to perform a ritual that is intuitively based without a need for an outcome that I am trying to actively control, but rather allowing the outcome to be something that I actually need that I may be unaware of. I want you to really follow exactly what it is that I'm saying, because this is powerful concepts that I'm relaying to you right now. The most powerful occultists, powerful magicians, powerful people on the planet that embrace spiritual practices are understanding this principle right now and are using it daily. They are not using occult books. They are not performing rituals that they got from somebody else, and that's the bulk of their practice. I will tell you that much. See, there is power within all of us, specifically ingrained in our DNA, ingrained within our bodies, which means in order to access this internal unique power that we all have, we have to start tapping into the part of ourself that is in alignment with that power. Let's start looking at the essence of power. Power is feminine in nature. Power is the essence of our universe. The universe, especially the feminine aspect of our universe, is closely associated with the unknown, closely associated with chaos. That's why chaos is also power. So what is the unknown within our own beings? It's the unconscious. It's the subconscious mind. What is the unknown within our bodies? Are you making your heart beat? Are you making the blood run through your veins right now? Are you controlling the speed at which you're breathing when you're listening to me right now as I speak? Not after I said it, but before I said it. Or is there something else doing this behind scenes? Is there something else unconscious and subconsciously governing how your body is responding? This is sometimes what we refer to as the higher self, sometimes referred to as the superconscious. This is the unconscious mind. This is the subconscious. And yes, it is a part of our beings that is governed by a higher density aspect of ourself that is connected to the source, connected to the all. So when it comes to ritualistic magic, the most powerful forms of creating manifestation along the lines of actual high magic, evolutionary-based magic, because we can get into a lot of weeds when we start looking at low magic. This is why it's always important for people to gear more of their focus towards high magic, especially in the beginning stages of their evolution. More of the focus, I'm not saying throw low magic out, because low magic has a role and there's always needing to be a balance of everything, but let's put more focus into high magic, because that's the reason why you became incarnate. You did not incarnate here to have a nice house. You didn't incarnate here to have a nice car. You incarnated here to evolve as a soul and to live a purpose where you further polarize that soul, and you also spread that information through the planet. So to other human beings, you share that evolutionary information based on whatever it is you're doing or whatever polarity you follow. that's the purpose, and that purpose unfolds itself in many different unique ways. So high magic has everything to do with those aspects of life and those aspects of ourself. So high magic is accessed within the unknown portions of our consciousness. It's accessed within our unconscious minds, primarily. Which means if you want to access the most power that you possibly can, literally to get the most power, to become the most powerful version of yourself. And think about this, the more powerful you become as you are developing along the lines of high magic, the more power you have with low magic as well. That's a part of the beautiful balance that comes into play. So you will be more powerful and you will have more freedom to be able to stand in a butterfly garden and make over 6 figures with your business, live on the beach, and have a healthy, fun, exciting, freedom-seeking type of lifestyle. Now, obviously, everyone has challenges. Everyone goes through transformations. I'm no different. But there's a lot of things that I've been able to enjoy in life and that I've been able to experience that many people haven't, because I walk that path of high magic. I walk that path of soul evolution. And I do have power to manifest financial gain. I do have power to manifest whatever I need in the low magic realm. Sex, nice things, whatever it is. Okay? Each of these rings is about $1,000. This is somebody's rent right here. And I'm saying that just to show that the more you're focusing on your soul, the more power you have to manifest into the material. It's just a fact for those of you that were curious. Okay? Now, as I'm saying that, once again, to access that part of manifestation or to access that part of power, it is paramount that you know that you're not going to be able to find that power or tap into it by listening to someone else's rules or by listening to someone else's orders. Okay, so as I'm saying this, I want you to really hear what I'm saying. I'm not telling you to be a rebel. I'm not telling you to be an asshole. I'm not telling you to throw out all your occult books that have rituals that are written in them. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just communicating the essence of how you really tap into real internal power within yourself and allow it to manifest in a way that it needs to manifest without you trying to consciously control it. So as I said, this power exists within our bodies and it's directly connected to chaos. It's connected to the unknown. It's a feminine power, and there is a specific and special way to access it. And I know the keys. I have the keys. I've accessed it many times in my life, and I can access it whenever I need it, whenever I want it, because I know the keys on what it is that I'm doing. And it's nothing overly complicated. It's nothing logical. It's not a rule set that I really have to follow. It's very intuitive. So I'm sure you're listening. You're like, what is it? How do I do it? How do I access that power? What are you talking about? I've been waiting for this moment my whole life. Well, the power exists, as I said, within, and there is no logic to it. So I want you to think about all the times you tried to manifest something. You tried to ritualize something with a strong, this is how the outcome's going to be. This is what I want to create. This is what I'm trying to get. This is how I'm trying to look. This is what I'm trying to get myself into. This is what I want to bring into my life. And once again, I'm not saying that this is wrong. I'm not saying this is bad. This is what low magic is, and that has its place. But high magic is what needs to happen outside of your own awareness, because it is so profound that you can't always logically grasp it. You won't logically grasp it. How many things do you think exist in this present moment as you're listening to this that could happen in your life that are in your favor, but you just don't know them yet? It's like you don't even know what your highest potential looks like, but it's there right now as we speak. And we all have access to start tapping into that flow of power, that flow of chaos that can get us there. Remember, chaos has a hidden order embedded within it. I want you to think of the yin-yang symbol. And just like in that yin-yang symbol, you have the white portion and the black portion, the white being the order, black being the chaos, and then you have that little dot in the center of it. That little dot, that little white dot in the center, the little white dot in the center of the black portion of the yin-yang is the hidden pattern of order that exists within chaos. So chaos truly has an order to it. It's just an order that's so complex, so high in density that our logical human brains could never pinpoint it, could never understand it fully and figure it out. Science will never grasp it, but it's real and it exists. And we are it. Okay? We are it. So to access that power, there is a sequence of steps that you can take to then get yourself in that position where the power can unfold. And I think one of the most powerful ways to do this, there are many, but I think one of the most powerful ways to access this energy within is through the art of invocation, and then sitting with the energy that you're invoking without anything else but you drawing your awareness inside of your own body and having active communication with whatever energy it is that you're invoking. So let me make sure that I'm really clear as I say this. I'm telling you the secrets to causing the most powerful transformation in the occult field, both for yourself and in the world around you. Like, this type of ritualistic spiritual practice can literally change life circumstances and events on our planet. And there's a reason why most people don't know about it. And there's a reason why most people don't understand it and allow themselves time and respect to channel that energy. Remember, everything's quick in our today's time. Everything's fast. We got to scroll to the next thing. We got to move on to the next thing. We got to think about the next thing. Think. What about feel? What about sense? What about know? Okay? Now we're talking about the unconscious here. The bottom of that iceberg. So when you do an invocation of, let's say, a specific entity, right? Let's say you're studying for my YouTube channel and you're curious about the entity of Lucifer. You're like, you know what? I resonate with this energy. I don't really even know what it is, but something about it is calling me. So what do I do now? Do I go get a book that teaches me how to do a ritual to invoke Lucifer to then manifest something? Do I go get a book that teaches me how to do a ritual that uses Lucifer to perform some form of low magic to manifest something into my life once again? Or do I figure out how to do an invocation in general and then just sort of sit with the energy? Try to build a relationship with this energy all on my own and figure out what it means to me and see how it unfolds as I invoke it. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know how it's going to unfold. I'm not even trying to manifest anything, really. I'm just invoking. This is the key. This is the key. When you are accessing the most powerful forms of high magic, there is no control. The only control would come from the intent of manifesting what is in your best interest, and that's about it. Let me say that one more time. The only control would be the intent of manifesting what is in your best interest, and everything else is surrendered to how that process will come about. So in the act of invocation of an entity like Lucifer, without anything else needing to be at play, other than just the experience itself, you're going to find yourself in a position, oftentimes, that is very uncomfortable. Why is that? Because you've just invoked an entity, a powerful entity, into your space. And especially if you're not developed in this field, or if you're a beginner, or if you're someone who doesn't really appreciate the practice to the degree that it should be appreciated, you're going to get anxious, you're going to get fidgety, you're going to want to move, you're going to want to do something. You're going to want to keep your mind occupied. Part of you is going to be like, okay, and now I need to use this energy for something. I need to put it somewhere. I need to have a reason for this. Why am I doing this? Why am I invoking Lucifer? What's the point? See, all these parts of your own being will start to activate, basically. Part of you will be like, okay, how long do I have to sit here? Maybe I should go check my phone. Maybe I should go, something, I'm cooking something and it's almost done. Whatever the excuse is. These things are natural and they will come up. I'm no different. Now, I've been doing this for some time, so I've lessened that state within myself. So it's not as active. I have more of a calm state when I'm in this space because I know what I'm doing. I know what's happening and I'm familiar with it. But when you're a beginner, when you're new, or if you're not that familiar with it, it's extremely uncomfortable. And it makes you want to go do something else. It makes you want to move. It makes you want to get out of that state of peace and that state of calm. And this is why most people fail with developing real power within the occult. This is literally why most people never access the true energetic doorways of deep level initiation. This is why people get stuck within the lower spheres, because high magic has to do with the higher spheres, which is behind the conscious mind into the unconscious. And if you don't have an ability or a respect for yourself to go there, then you're not going to get there, at least until you develop that respect or until you develop that will, that intent. So what I'm literally saying is something very simple. Doing an invocation of Lucifer, for example, and then sitting there and paying attention to the subtle and slight sensations that are taking place in your body, that are taking place in your mind. Are you noticing your internal dialogue is shifting? Are you noticing an energetic change to something that's happening inside of your body? Is something shifting? Are you feeling pressure in a certain area that you haven't felt before? Are you getting images that pop into your mind? These are the little things that you want to start observing and paying attention to, and you do not want to be necessarily making sense out of them, because then that takes you out of the space of feeling. It takes you out of that space of being the observer. So rather, what you're wanting to do is you're wanting to just feel and observe those sensations. And this is where the power is being accessed. This is literally the essence of someone tapping into the super conscious within themselves. And as I'm saying this, this may even sound crazy to some of you. Like, what are you talking about? How is that the most powerful thing that you could do? It sounds like you're doing nothing. And that's why those people will forever be powerless. They will be weak, and they are weak-minded, and they will have nothing to show for what it is that they think they understand. The real secrets to the deepest levels of the occult are some of the most practical and simple things that someone can do that take a lot of discipline to actually do. So sitting in silence, sitting in peace with an energy, with yourself. You don't even need to do invocations. You can sit in silence with yourself, close your eyes, and start paying attention to sensations within your body. Start paying attention to what it is that's coming up to the surface of your mind. What are the images? What are the colors? What are the smells you're inhaling? What's the taste that's coming up in your mouth? Just observing it. This is accessing that super hyper intelligence within your physical body. And guess what? This is really aligning your emotional body to your spirit body. So I want you to know this as you're listening. There is an aspect of you that is completely energetic that exists outside of our planet. This is literally the higher self. And it has you could think of it like a Bluetooth connection that goes directly into your physical body, which is the physical human vessel. When you're doing this type of practice that I'm discussing, you are melding your energetic physical body through the emotional realm, through the emotional level that connects into the spirit body. So you could think of it like melting together your higher self into your physical body. And it is your higher self that understands things that you with your brain are not conscious of. Because your higher self, the reason why they call it higher self is because you could think of it like it's a version of you sitting on top of a cliff that sees the whole picture. And you're at the bottom of the cliff trying to learn how to navigate and decide what the next step is you're supposed to take in life. But you don't even know because you're at the bottom of that cliff and the cliff is blocking your view and you can't tell where the road goes. You can't tell where you're headed, but your higher self knows because it's way up there. So it's through this simple and practical type of practice, yet once again takes a lot of discipline to actually apply, where you are accessing that hyper intelligence of your own higher self to meld your physical body and the energy field that surrounds it to the spirit body or the energy body of your own higher self that exists in a literal different dimension outside of our planetary sphere. And this is when you start to notice changes and triggers of transformation that are beyond what you could ever imagine. So what I'm literally saying, and I will speak from personal experience, I've done this in my life. This was the beginning of my occult initiatory journey. Look at that, what's it called? Mosquito was sucking my blood, I just killed it. That's my blood right there. Just killed it on my arm. Tried taking my blood, I took it right back. Look at that. I am the essence of the apex predator, as I say that. Tried to suck my blood, took it right back, and now it became a part of this message, part of this ritual. So as I was saying, I am an example of this principle. Okay, when I first started, and you can check, you can document this. You can go back in my YouTube channel 3 years ago, when I was getting started with my deeper level occult initiations, and I will say the same exact thing. When I started within the occult, I didn't follow any structured rituals. I didn't follow any rule books. I didn't have someone telling me how I was supposed to do these practices, because my intuition was already attuned to what my highest potential was, which was listening to my intuition and calling the energies that I was led to invoke, and then sitting with them and then communicating with that hyper intelligence within my own body and allowing those energies I'm calling to give me signs and symbols and open up other spiritual doorways. So I know this may sound a little bit complex to somebody who doesn't understand what I'm saying, but this is how I started my journey. This is how my occult initiations unfolded from the very beginning. This is why I made huge strides of progress. This is why I've become so powerful on a spiritual level to be able to manifest things by the words that I speak. And once again, I'm a testament to that. There are people that study from my channel, multiple people over and over and over again, that have told me, as soon as I started studying from your channel and I started learning from some of the things that you've been talking about, I've noticed my entire life start shifting. I noticed my entire life start changing. And that's besides the people that have received the Universe Be Vampire service from me. The people that receive the vampire service, their lives change even more drastically. So you obviously have to have some level of power to affect people's lives by just speaking about concepts, speaking about experiences, and giving knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that someone else can receive that then allows their life to trigger. And it's not that I'm doing it to them. It's that the message that I have is so powerful that if the person receives it, they're doing it to themselves by using the momentum of what they're receiving from me giving out the message. So it's a two-way street there. But I do that and I have that power. And the reason why is because I'm using that power of real chaos. And I'm using that power. I've used that power of listening to myself over the rule books, over the steps that I need to take, over the ritualistic doctrines that I need to follow. It's a feminine power, I'm telling you right now, and everyone has to access it through that feminine unconscious chaos gateway. And it's hard because obviously everyone's mind, logical mind, wants to grab a concept from this. They want to grab something that makes sense. They want to be told what to do. They want to be told what to believe. They want to be told how it's going to happen, what it's supposed to do, how exactly is it going to unfold. And yes, I can understand someone might need that in the beginning stages just to see how real it is. You may need that. That's okay. There's no shame in that. But when you really start talking about real power, real transformation to the point where you can do a ritual that has not ever yet been documented on paper, and then you shift the entire scope of the political realm by your own ritual, and you know you did it because you see the manifestation of it, and you see the symbols within the universe that shows that you did it. How do you gain that power? How do you do those things? How many people do you know that want to tap into that? And I'm telling you the literal keys on how to access that power, the general concept of how that power unfolds. And it is a power, once again, that exists within all of us, within our physical bodies, and within that higher portion of our energy fields, the higher self. And it is only going to be accessed by doing the practices that make no fucking sense. Starting off the practice in a state of feeling, where, for example, you're doing the invocation, you're sitting with the energy now, and you're just observing the little things. You're observing the temperature changes, observing the states of change that your body's going through, observing any consciousness that starts to come into your mind, observing where the thoughts are going. You're not judging anything. You're not latching onto anything. You're not making sense out of it yet. You're just observing it, and you're feeling it. This is the work. This is the power. It is in that act of feeling. Feeling is emotion. Emotion is energy in motion. When you're feeling, you're moving energy. Energy is moving through you, and you are a reflection of the universe itself. So when energy is moving through you, it's also moving through the universe. And this is how your own higher self can manifest things into your life in accordance with your intention, which is your highest potential evolution. And everything else can be let go of. You don't need to know anything in regards to how it's going to happen. You don't know why it's going to happen. You don't know the steps that are going to unfold. You just know that you're doing what you're doing and you're feeling what you're feeling for your highest potential of evolution. And then your higher self goes to work and starts making massive changes. People that could come into your life and act as oppositions to you get removed so quickly you couldn't even understand it. In the most illogical ways. You didn't even do anything to them. You didn't have to tell them anything. You didn't have to do psychic warfare. You didn't have to do anything. They just disappear. Something comes up in their life and they have to go in a completely different direction because you were feeling. Because you were allowing that energy and motion to move through you, and then that moved through the universe to clear room for your highest potential. Okay, so once again, I am a testament to this principle. And once again, that is the reason why I've experienced so much at a deep level within this field compared to a lot of other people. Is because from the very start of my practices, it was very somatic for me. It was very feeling. I had occult books that told me what I was supposed to do and how I was supposed to do it. And I just knew I wasn't supposed to follow those rules. I had general things that I would do, like creating my circle, and I would do it in different ways at different times. Sometimes I would use like some stones. Sometimes I would draw it in the sand. I'm just listening to my intuition, and then I sit with the energies. I think that's the most powerful part of this message. If you take anything from this message, it's the power of sitting with the energy and then observing and then feeling. That is literally the most profound way to access that unconscious power, superpower that exists within your being. And that power will manifest things that you couldn't even imagine. It will manifest things. And guess what? You'll know it will manifest things. And you will know it was you that manifested it because it will draw its awareness to you. So let me give you an example. I did a ritual, one of these very intuitive rituals, with actually one of my brothers who's tapped into that same energy. Thank you. Who's tapped into that same energy of just trusting the process, observing, listening to the intuition, and following the flow. We didn't have any rule set. We didn't have any structure. It was just, we're going to invoke these energies and we're going to see what happens after that. And we're over here drawing symbols in the sand. We don't even know what the symbols mean, but we're just listening to what our intuition's doing. We're drawing symbols in the air. We don't even know what we're doing. We're making noises. Ooh, ah, ee, ah. We don't even know what we're doing, but we're listening to what we're being told internally. And me and my brother, we were these two unique people that were in unison together. It's rare you come across these people, but when you're on this path, it happens. And long story short, after we did this ritual, it was the next day later where me and him were hanging out, and we're sitting inside of this bar at the time. We look up at the TV, and it was, what was it? It was the Pope's church. I'm forgetting what the name of the church was. But it was the Pope's church, Saint something, I'm forgetting the name. It was burning down, and just happened to be that next day I was wearing a shirt that had flames on it, and my brother was wearing red. And we're sitting in this bar, and the bartender puts a candle in front of us, a candle right in front of us as we're sitting. And me and him looked at each other and we said, something's going on with the element of fire, and it's connected to our ritual that we did the other day. And we didn't know what it meant at that time, because I was wearing the flames, he was wearing red, we have the candle in front of us. We look up at the TV, and then the Pope's church, Saint something, I'm forgetting what it was called, was burning down. And immediately it came into our consciousness, that's what we triggered. That's what we did. That's what our ritual manifested. And obviously it manifested in that way because that was a power structure. See, those churches, those power structures are meant to suppress certain types of evolutionary energies. And when you're the new apex predator within the occult fields, and you're accessing power that anyone has potential to access, and you're doing it because you're your own free agent, it brings down anything that could potentially be suppressing your energy field. And in that case, it was that church. and it just burned down. And they had to basically reestablish it, and that was symbolic for it no longer suppressing. The energy was changing. That power structure was destroyed to an extent. Okay, so these are little things that take place. And we didn't know what we were, like in the ritual, we didn't know that's what we were going to do. We didn't know that's how it was going to manifest. We didn't know any of that. All we knew is what we were doing in that moment, and we were just feeling through the entire process. And by the time we're done, we're basically exhausted. We were just, I remember at the end of the ritual, we were laying down on the sand in Miami Beach, looking up at the stars after we had drawn all these symbols in the sand that we didn't have. We had no idea what these symbols meant. And we're just looking up at the stars, and we're just connecting to these different constellations. We don't even know what these constellations are, but we're just allowing our awareness to find them and lock onto them and then drop them and then find these other ones. And we're feeling the energies from these constellations, though. That's the point. We're feeling them. And then when we were done, we were exhausted and we were just laying on the sand. And that next day, it manifested in that church burning down. But also, in my personal life, I went through huge transformation after that. Massive physical changes and internal changes in my life. Like big things started shifting. Energy was moving a lot because once again, fire connects to active energy and movement. It's related to the wands. It's related to power. It's related to things burning down and new things coming up, or things burning down and what's meant to be stays and what's not burns away. So there's so much symbolism behind that. And none of it was planned. None of it was written down. See, this is what you really need to know. And I'm not telling you that you need to be a psychopath. I'm not telling you to be crazy and just go around doing crazy shit. I'm telling you to feel. I'm telling you to observe the sensations within your body and know that you have that unconscious superpower within you, and it is connected to your own higher self. And if you want to understand real power, this is the simple practice that you can utilize to access it. If you don't want to believe me, if you don't want to listen to anything that I'm saying, by all means, I could care less. It's not my responsibility for you to gain power. Okay, it's my responsibility to gain power for myself, and I share it because that's what I do, and I love doing it. And I love when people are drawn to my channel that actually receive it. But I'm also aware that there are many people that are skeptical and many people that aren't necessarily receiving it, and that's completely fine. And once again, I'm not attached to if you're receiving it or not. Okay? So consider what I'm talking about, because I'm not talking about this for no reason. And you will see a difference in the practitioners who follow all the rules, who are part of the orders and have to follow every single step they're given, who are super linear and super analytical and logical with their ritualistic practices, compared to the practitioners who are real shamans. Think about the essence of a shaman. You're in the nature and you are communicating with your environment. You're gaining the symbols of the universe through the way nature is communicating to you on an archetypal level. There's no rule book to being a shaman. There's no rule book behind this symbol in nature means this. The only rule book is the internal dialogue and the internal feeling of the intuition. So every shaman perceives things in a different way, but even though these things are perceived in different ways, they are grounded in something similar. And once again, it always comes down to the state of the feeling, being able to feel. And once again, you will see a difference in those types of practitioners, the shamans, the real shamans, against the people that are stuck in their head. The shamans are coming from that soul space of the feeling and then can use the mind as a tool to direct focus, to direct energy. People that are stuck in the mind are lacking the connection to the unconscious and lacking the connection to the soul, which is inherently lacking the feminine energy. Therefore, no matter how mentally powered they may be, they're basically missing about 80% potential of their power to manifest. So they could use their mind all they want. They could put their focus into whatever it is that they want and spend so much time and energy trying to manifest it. And it may manifest, but it for sure is not permanent. And it for sure may not happen in their best interest either. Meaning that thing that they're actually manifesting could end up working against them and coming against them, pushing them back in life, making them feel worse than when before they had it, rather than being in alignment with the soul and creating from a space of what you're supposed to create, what you're here to actually experience, and then having it flow effortlessly without having to induce so much mental stress or so much mental fortitude. It's just a natural channel when you're coming from the soul space. But it's hard because you're not logical in that process, and there's no one there holding your hand saying, this is exactly how it's going to happen. This is exactly what you're manifesting. This is exactly the step you need to take. See, this is why you have to trust the unknown. This is why you have to be the essence of the full archetype and go with that process of the unknown. As I said, this is a power. This is what separates the strong. This is what separates the elite within this field from everyone else. And trust me, there are few elites within this field. And when I say that, I'm not trying to make you think like, oh my gosh, like there's elites and then there's regular people. I don't want you to have a weird, twisted idea about it, but I want you to know that there are people that are really aware of the deeper principles and are accessing them like on a conscious level, consciously accessing the unconscious, compared to people that are stuck in the mental layers, where they're always looking for the next bit of knowledge, the next bit of information, the next thing to hold on to, the next thing to know, rather than just feeling and being in the unknown and recognizing it's like, I don't even know what's going to manifest from this, but I do know it will manifest something in my best interest. And if I can just feel, observe, allow the energy to take me where I'm supposed to go, without having to logically understand what this energy is doing, then I can follow my internal intelligence. I can follow my internal power. I can get possessed by my higher self, and I can access the most power that is possible. All right. So with that being said, this is a long video. I'm just realizing that this was a video that needed to be recorded. Okay, there are going to be a few amongst many who view this video that are really going to understand and receive the essence of what it is that I'm trying to communicate. And that is what it is. And for those of you that are listening, congratulations. That's why I made the video. Now, there will be others who will be inspired by this video. And also, congratulations, because that inspiration can lead you along the right path. There will be others who are skeptical. Congratulations. Continue to be skeptical. Let's see how that unfolds in your life. Okay, let's see how far that gets you. The bird's laughing. You see that? See how far that gets you. Thank you, I appreciate it. See, nature has humor. And when you're a real shaman like myself, nature communicates with you. That's why I said that, and the bird started laughing. And then the average person will be like, what in the, how did he time that right? How did he know that would happen? Or some people, they don't want to believe it so much. They're like, oh, this guy's crazy. He doesn't know what he's talking about, saying that birds understand human nature or understand energies that humans emanate. And that's fine. Once again, that's okay. Okay, but those of you that know, you understand the symbols, and that is what it is. So if you enjoyed this video, come down here and hit the thumbs up. Definitely do that. Show me that